it do, YouTube? It's your boy Amb, aka Ambitious A. First and foremost, again, if you haven't seen my channel before, welcome. I'm a third-year medical student, and I appreciate all the love and support I've been getting so far. So in this video, I want to talk about my fraternity, aka Kappa Alpha Psi. Shout out to the noops. I want to talk about kind of like why I decided to become a noob, as well as kind of give advice for those who may be interested in Greek life, want to join a fraternity or sorority, but are kind of concerned about like the potential consequences it's going to have towards your grades and things like that. I'm going to talk about like the benefits that I've had in my experience in the fraternity and kind of like what you can do to put yourself in the best position if you are interested in being a part of Greek life. So to get things started, when I came to college, I didn't really know anything about Greek life. Like, I'm African, I really wasn't exposed to fraternities and sororities in high school. So I got to campus, and it was kind of crazy to me, just seeing everybody in their different colors, different organizations like that or whatnot. So at my school, the Kappas, man, those guys are something else, man. Like when they walked into a room, literally like everybody's conversation stopped. Everybody kind of acknowledged their presence, and I really kind of like that about the Kappas at UT. So probably decided I wanted to hit it second semester of my freshman year. And that's probably around the time I expressed interest. So my biggest concerns when I was like trying to join the fraternity was just basically how I was gonna balance, school and the responsibilities that it takes, to become part of the chapter, things like that. And I'm gonna kind of just talk about some tips on how you can do that if you are interested in becoming a part of a Greek-related organization, fraternity, sorority, whatever. So just real quick off rip, people always ask me like, why Kappa? I don't know, man. It's just, I really bold with our fundamental purpose, which is achievement in every field of human endeavor. You feel me? So, and I really feel like my chapter, as long as my LBs and everybody that's kind of surrounded with are all doing that in whatever they're doing, whether it's being an athlete, whether it's, law school, med school, being an agent. Like, I got chapter brothers that are doing all kind of chefs. You know what I'm saying? I got people doing everything in literally every sector, and it's motivating to be around people that are, doing big things. Some of the benefits I've had being in a fraternity since I crossed my sophomore year. One, you learn how to work with people of all different types of like backgrounds, mindsets, mentalities, things like that, which I think is a valuable life lesson because like, especially for me being in medicine, like I have to work with people that you may not necessarily like agree with how they think, but everybody has the same end goal, which is patient care. It was kind of the same thing in the frat. Like we all wanted to be the best chapter we could be, but not everybody did that or went about that the same way. Another positive experience that I had with the fraternity is learning how to become a more confident speaker, learning how to speak in public, things like that nature, because you talk to hundreds and hundreds of people at events and things like that. So I think it definitely helped like public speaking. Networking was huge. So the doctors that I ended up like shadowing all through undergrad were all like either in my fraternity or in other D9 organizations like Alphas or Omegas. So other benefits that I had in my experience in the frat, just leadership. So it's funny because literally in every med school interview I had, every question that they asked me, I could apply one of my experiences that I had through the fraternity and explain why I would be a good physician, why I'd be a good candidate for the medical school. Tell me about a time you worked with adversity. Tell me about a time you had to work in the team. Tell me about a time where, you had to overcome challenges, And I was able to like have an experience from being in the frat and kind of like talk about that, verbalize that. And I think it was really helpful. Also, another cool thing, like when I was interviewing for med school in Texas, like I didn't have to pay for one hotel because I was just like, say, nope, I'm gonna be in the city, can I stay with you, And generally, like we all look out for each other, so that was cool. Not to mention like the scholarships that I got through the fraternity. And just overall the college experience, I think like me joining the frat definitely enhanced my college experience. One of the top 3 decisions I made in college. And I don't regret doing it at all. So now I'm gonna talk about how I was able to maintain my GPA in college while pledging and also like post, crossing, because the work, like once you get into the chapter and the work starts, it low-key becomes harder. Like it's not just the semester you pledge that's hard, but subsequent semesters as well. So for me, I felt like I was in a pretty good place going into the semester before I pledged, and I just tried to make sure that I was ahead on the classes that I knew would take the most amount of energy. So for me, that semester, that was OChem 2 and OChem Lab. And that winter break, so I pledged in the spring, that winter break, I I read like 3, 4, 5 chapters. I got the syllabuses for that class. I read 3, 4, 5 chapters ahead to make sure by the time I got to the class, like I was prepared and I was ahead. Because I didn't, you don't want to be in a situation where you have all these different responsibilities and then you start to neglect class all in the sake of joining a fraternity, So because I was scared and I knew that, okay, I want to be, I'm pre-med, I want to be, go to med school, but I also want to do this at the same time. I tried to put myself in the best situation by doing my work early and being ahead. Also, you want to like just try to base your schedule where you're not taking like as many hard like science classes if possible. For me, I was only OChem 2 and I kind of like pushed like biochem or genetics. I pushed those classes to the next semester because I didn't want to like do too much or overload myself doing school things, you see what I'm saying? I think it's important to understand for those who are interested in Greek life that like it's just one aspect of your overall profile. Let me put it like this, right? So who you are, what kind of student you are, the grades you make, that's your, let's say you're building a cake. You know what I mean? And then being in a fraternity or sorority is icing on the cake. Meaning like if you're a well-built cake with nice icing, sprinkles, all of that, you're much more attractive to the consumer. Whereas nobody's gonna go out and just buy icing or just buy, sprinkles. Meaning like being in a fraternity and sorority won't necessarily help you get to your goals if the rest of your profile, the rest of everything else you're doing isn't solid. But if you are, handling your grades, if you are like a leader on campus and you're in a fraternity and you're in a sorority, it's just a complete package. So I say that to like stress that don't lose your head in the pursuit of becoming Greek, because at the end of the day, it's not worth it. You become the flyest Delta flyest, aka on the yard, but your GPA is like a 2.3, 2.4. You can't even be active in your chapter because you fried your GPA, pledging and doing that kind of stuff. So just be mindful of the bigger picture if you are interested in going Greek. It's funny because the semester I pledged was actually my lowest GPA at UT, which it wasn't a bad GPA, but in the sense it was the lowest one I had. But the semester after I pledged was actually my highest GPA, which was fall 2014, my junior year. I ended up getting a 4.0 that semester. And it's crazy because like the responsibilities you have once you get in the chapter increase, like you are the chapter, you are what people are expecting to, because fraternity sororities are held at a higher standard. And I think it's important just to like prioritize what you can and can't do, where you can and can't be. You're not gonna be able to make every mixer, you're not gonna be able to make every kickback, You're not gonna be able to hit every hoorah, you just gotta make smart decisions, you see what I'm saying? You can't be at every party, you can't chill with every girl that wants to talk to you because, you're Greek and that type of thing. So just remember the overall, like the underlying mission, you see what I'm saying? Because it is a lot of work, but I do think that I think it's fulfilling and I think it's rewarding in the long run. So for my brothers and sisters who are interested in going Greek, make sure that you do your research and make sure that you really like understand the reason why you want to go Greek. And once you have that reason solidified, then make sure that you try to set yourself up and put yourself in the best situation where you're not compromising your grades, you're not compromising your relationships, things of that nature, all in the sake of getting letters, because that's not the point of it. You know what I'm saying? The point of it is to learn how to like deal with multiple things, learn how to like damn near juggle like a million different things at one time while achieving, while still handling your business. You see what I'm saying? And I think if you do that right, it is that much more rewarding in the end. I personally, if you were to ask me like what do you recommend, I personally recommend anybody that has the opportunity to go Greek to like shoot for it, because it's one of those things where like I pledged in 2014. I'm damn near 5 years in the game now, and I still get benefits like crazy. I still make connections, meet relationships type of thing. And, like from the outside looking in, it's for life. You feel me? Like I can go to any hood and it's like, what's up, noob? I can meet another member of Kappa Alpha Psi. And because we're in the same fraternity, there's that like underlying brotherhood that, like just look out for each other. And even outside of like your own fraternity, like even outside your own like fraternal council, like there can be a Sigma Chi or some Greek organization I've never heard before, but the fact that he's in a fraternity, I'm in a fraternity, she's in a sorority type of thing, is just that underlying like similarity, you know what I mean? And I think like the benefits long term are definitely worth like the semester. that, you know, the hardest, because, you know, it's challenging and all that kind of jazz. But, you know, if you put yourself in a good situation, if you're doing it for the right reasons, I definitely think it's worth it in the long run. And even if like you've graduated and you're thinking about doing like alumni or grad chapter, I would still like recommend that if you have the opportunity to pursue it, because like I said, it's for life, you know what I mean? So I pledged in spring 2014, but I'm still gonna have that brotherhood till spring 20, spring 25, spring 30, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. And I'm definitely glad that I joined, and I think it's definitely a good thing in the long run. So for anybody that's interested, I'll go ahead and link the link to my probate and link to other like performances and show-outs that I did when I was in college, just so y'all can kind of see. And for those that don't really know like what fraternities and Greek life is all about, and you know, especially those that don't know like Black and Greek life, because it is kind of different than, you know, like your white fraternities, your white sororities. Just go ahead and check out those videos. I'm gonna put those in the description. And if you have a friend that is interested in going Greek, but they're still concerned about their grades, or they just maybe want to hear somebody's perspective, share this video, like this video, subscribe, all that good jazz, you know what I'm saying? Anywho, Ambitious Abe, stay humble, stay hungry. Let's get it.